let's get to this. Here's a photo I took last summer when I was hiking up to the Pulpit Rock. Video of that trip here. And as you can see, there's a lot of people around here. This is actually my girlfriend standing here alone. She's actually framed. I like her in the photo. And you can see a lot of people just standing around here, some on the edge, some sitting. There's people everywhere. And when you look at the whole photo, it's kind of distracting. You got this other photo here, which is similar, and this is the photo I posted from that trip. And as you can see, it's suddenly a really moody shot of just my girlfriend standing alone. And I like her in the frame, as I told you, like she's perfectly making a line towards the corner of the rock formation. So I want to keep her in the photo. What I don't like about this photo is it's probably a bit too dark, and I don't like this extreme vignetting that I put on. So how do we get from this to this? Well, the first thing I will do is go to my own made presets, and as you can see, if I press this, we're already far along the trip. So I just need to do some small adjustments. If we zoom in here, we see that the people are pretty obvious still. So how do I remove them? Well, the first thing I do is I right click just on the photo, or double click if you use a trackpad on a MacBook, and then I go to edit in Photoshop 2022, and we're in. What I like to do is I press Command J to duplicate the layer so that I have a working layer that I can work on. If anything goes wrong, I can just fix that, go back to the original layer, the background layer. So yeah, that's how I like to do it. Today we're going to use a tool that's called Clone Tool. It's this tool you see up here, Clone Stamp Tool, I mean. And what it does is it takes a part of the picture, you select a part of the picture, and you paint with that area. You can select it to stay in one area so that every time you paint it doesn't move, but I like it to move because there's texture in the ground that I want to copy, and just it looks way more natural for me at least. So I like to zoom in, and then I use the Option key on Mac to select an area to copy, and then I just paint. And as you see, there's a plus sign that shows me where I'm sampling from when I'm painting. As you can see, there's a crack in the rock formation here that I tried to duplicate, and I imagine it going from here to here. For this to work, you need to think like a painter. That's how I see it. All of these small squares are the pixels of my camera or my picture, and each of them represents one of many colors. Imagine you're painting on a canvas of really small squares, and you need to remake what should be behind this person or under this person that you're removing. So for this area where his back is, I think it's gonna look like this and like this. And where he's sitting, it's probably gonna be this darker area and a little bit of this lighter area. And behind his leg here, it's gonna be more like the stone you see behind him. So you reproduce what should be there if that person isn't there. So let's get to it. Yeah, just keep on sampling and painting, and plus sign moves when I paint. So if I paint too far, if I do like this, it's gonna repaint those legs, and suddenly it's just repainting the dark from his back. So I always have to resample and paint and resample and paint. And it's a process. I think it's fun. It's satisfying to just see the things you want gone disappear like they were never there before. And right now it doesn't look too good because we're zoomed in and like it's kind of unclear what we're doing. But I'm going to show you, go really fast now. I'm going to show you what it looks like when I'm done removing him. And we're done. And as you can see, if I zoom out and we get to see the whole picture, you could never tell that there has been a person here. So let's continue and see the end result. I'm gonna speed up this process. You don't have to follow along. But just remember, here is a new background where you have two people standing, you got some ocean behind them, you got bright areas of cliff, you got dark areas of cliff, you know, and also you need to think of removing their shadows in the areas that it's really obvious. At least if you look at Lisa here, you can see a really clear shadow from the light area between her legs, and it's obvious that there's been a person standing here. Sometimes it's not that obvious, but this is also a little bit obvious. So just think of all those things when you remove people. Don't just remove the people, remove what they have done to the environment around them, like shadows and stuff like that. So I'm gonna speed through, just again, option click and then paint. And then when you have to have a new place, option paint. And that's how we go. I'm going really fast on these shadowy areas. I'm just making the shadow less human-y, so I'm using it to look like texture instead of a shadow from a human. And as you can see now, we have a picture of my girlfriend standing alone on the pulpit rock, which is, it's almost impossible to see that there has ever been people here. Of course, I wasn't too good around the sea area, and that's because it's just for instruction. I'm trying to teach you guys how to do it, and if I was to do this for myself, I would probably spend a little bit more time polishing and doing it perfect. But now that we're done, we just press Command S and it saves the file. Down here you can see it's saving, and when this is done, we will see that it pops up as a second photo in Lightroom. Now we have 1 of 2, and we have the original that is named 2 of 2 for some reason. As you see, when we switch between these two photos, there are less distracting elements from the subject in the frame, which is the pulpit rock and my girlfriend during early sunrise. And if we add those people, it's not a lot, but it's distracting from the subject. Since many of you probably know Lightroom, I'm going to just show you why I don't use the spot removal tool. Spot removal tool is used for one purpose mainly, which is removing spots from your camera or your photo when you have dirt on your sensor. If you press here, you can see it's visualizing those spots. There are not so many spots here. It's saying that these are spots, but it's probably just rock formations. And if we zoom in and then move the visualization, if I try to remove these people like this is the result. That actually worked, kind of, but sometimes, or most of the time, it doesn't work. Try this one. As you can see, it's not perfect. So that's why we use Photoshop, because you have way more wiggle room. You can paint and you can do small adjustments instead of these huge brushes. So it's up to you, but I would recommend trying to learn and do it in Photoshop. So that's one way of removing people from your photo using Photoshop. I'll make another video on that other trick I talked about, and I'll post that on a later date. I hope to see you guys there as well. But that's it for this one, guys. I hope you learned something new and that you get to try it yourself. Go out and remove those people you don't like from your photos. Thank you for watching yet another video. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please consider gently just smashing the hell out of that subscribe button and kicking to pieces that little bell. That way you get notified next time I post a video. I hope to see you guys there. Thank you and bye.